has actually dropped significantly because the border there is now manned by heavily armed pro-Gaddafi forces. So almost all of Libya's neighbours could end up dealing with fleeing workers. Some have now fled through Algeria, further down Libya's western frontier. And up to 100,000 people may try to cross into Niger in the coming months. That's according to the UN. At Egypt's frontier with Libya, hundreds of African refugees are stranded in a border no man's land. Some have been there for days. Here, the Egyptian authorities have tightened security, fearing that mercenaries hired by Gaddafi may try to flee to Egypt. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera.
One of Colonel Gaddafi's sons, Saif al-Islam, has been the public face of the regime since the unrest began. He's accused the international media, including Al Jazeera, of blowing the crisis out of proportion. In an interview with our Anita McNaught, he repeated the allegation, claiming that the West was trying to take over Libya's oil.
We have money in Switzerland. It's a joke. Please, come on. We are not kids. Stop fooling us. We have no money outside. You know, they failed. Come on.
That's just one. That's just one.
Give me
of the problem.
A single evidence that show me my our bank accounts. Show me. Second,
the bank accounts.
Show me that. No. Show
but
me
that's the least of your problems. Your diplomatic immunity has been taken away. You can't even travel
listen,
like you used to.
The West, we know them very well. When you are strong, you know, they run after you. They are like, you know, they're like cats. If you are weak, they want to be like tigers. We know this game. We tried them for a long time. We know them for a long time. The West, the Americans, the NATO. Come on, we don't pay attention to them. Please, come on. We know the organized media campaign against Libya. We know this very well. This country will survive. I know they want to split the country. They want to destroy it. They want to control its assets. It's a very rich country, small population. This will not happen. So we tell those people, be happy. This will never ever happen because the Libyan people are so united. And please, wait for surprises.
And you can see Anita's full interview with Saif al-Islam Gaddafi in 25 minutes at 15:30 hours GMT. That's immediately following this news bulletin. Let's take you live now to Benghazi in the east of Libya. Our correspondent Hoda Abdul Hamid is there for us now in the opposition-held town. What's been happening there today?
Well, I think it was a day called of rage and of defiance. Just to give you an idea, about 10 minutes ago, the speaker that you might be hearing in the background has called on the young people here to mobilize. According to him, there's fresh fighting happening in Ras Lanouf, that is further west after Brega, another oil-rich city. According to the speaker here, that fighting broke today after Friday prayer, and he was telling any of the young people here who have weapons or who have cars to just go there and help the residents of that area fight Gaddafi forces. Now, from what we understand, those could be some of the Gaddafi forces that had advanced all the way to Brega, were repelled by the opposition in Brega, and then retreated towards Ras Lanouf.
And how readily will people there heed that call to go and fight?
Well, from what we've seen over the past few days, the call to go and help certainly towards Ajdabia, Brega, and probably now Ras Lanouf has been heeded by many young people. We can safely say that hundreds have gone down there and are still down there. Actually, there was yesterday here a funeral ceremony for a couple of them who had gone there and who had come back dead. So the fighting is going down. The will to go there is there, and it's actually a much easier for them to go and try to face the Gaddafi loyalists in that area than to actually try to go more west in the country towards maybe Tripoli, Misrata or Zawiya.
What's the latest, Hoda, that you're hearing from the border and what's rapidly becoming a humanitarian crisis?
Definitely it is. All the NGOs here are calling and warning of this humanitarian crisis there. I think the sheer volume of the people who have reached that border has taken everybody has overwhelmed everybody. There are people who have absolutely nothing, maybe managed to get a few belongings. They need to be still relocated to their final destination. Some of them need medical aid, some of them need food, some of them need just money to be able to continue their journey. Certainly a humanitarian crisis there that is growing, and then aid organizations are also warning about an impeding humanitarian problem inside the country. They say there's a lot of internally displaced people who are fleeing these conflict areas, but who don't really have somewhere to go to. And they're also saying that there's a problem of food that is soon going to be a very big problem, simply because food is not coming in anymore from the border with Egypt, and it's actually also very difficult to transport food within the country because of the situations on the road. They say there's still a mixture of mercenaries, as they call them, on the road, and also bandits, people who are just there to hijack whoever is traveling on those roads and taking whatever belongings they have.
All right, Hada, many thanks indeed. Hada Abdelhamid reporting live there from Benghazi in Libya. Now let's move to Egypt, where thousands of protesters have once again taken to the capital's Tahrir Square to call for swift political reform. The new Prime Minister Essam Sharaf turned out to address the crowds alongside a senior member of the Muslim Brotherhood. He vowed to work hard to realize protesters' demands, saying that he would step down if he failed to do so.
You have achieved a great task, and the bigger objective is to rebuild Egypt. I'm praying to God that I would see Egypt a free country where opinion is not captured in prison cells, and see that the security of the citizen is a top priority. I pray to God that may Almighty God has honored me with more than I have asked for, and I pray to God to help me be able to deserve this position. Please raise your head up. You are an Egyptian.
Live now to Cairo, and AlJazeera's Ayman Mokhieldin, who's there. Ayman, we can't underplay the significance of what we've just seen and who the Prime Minister was standing next to while he was speaking.
Absolutely. No, it's a sign really in Egypt that the times are changing when a sitting prime minister can be seen on a stage in front of thousands of Egyptians with two senior members of the Muslim Brotherhood and others. In fact, one of those had actually been released just a day earlier from prison where he had been held by the former regime. So you get a sense really of the tone that not only the prime minister but other senior members of the leadership of this country are trying to strike, in that Egypt is going into a new era, and it's certainly something that people want. They want to see an Egypt with more political pluralism. They want to see one that has greater political participation from all parties. The Muslim Brotherhood itself was banned at one point. Now they too are throwing their hat in the ring by forming a political party. There's no doubt there are a lot of tough questions going ahead as to what role they and other political parties will play. But for now, it is really a message of national unity for ordinary Egyptians. And more importantly, it is a message that the Prime Minister, Essam Sharaf, is coming to answer the calls of the people. We heard it in his